And now the story is
govornika.
true. Hacking cabinet meister for this session comes from Bulgaria, 192 centimeters high, with some special hacking skills representing his AMATAS. Hearing from Chief Strategy Officer, welcome, Boris Goncharov.
Boris Goncharov, glavni urednik za
That was an
strategiju.
It's kind of a wrestling match or something, right? Good morning.
Welcome.
Dobro utro.
Dobro jutro. It
Dobro
was a
jutro.
good one, huh? For
Yeah, it was
entrance.
Ja ću
Thanks
ovako s
so much.
distancije
Yeah.
This
mahati.
distance, what
Yeah,
is easier,
guys.
it's easier. Dakle, wait a second. My colleague would like to say what will you talk about today?
Okay, sure.
Kabinet za hakiranje je u stvari ono što nam je tema, a to su horor priče iz stvarnog života o kibernetičkim napadima i njihovim posljedicama, ali i naučenim lekcijama.
Oh, some cybernetic attacks, some learned lessons, some lessons not learned yet. But Boris, you have your time. We await you 25 minutes when you're ready. Go.
Go, yes. Okay, good morning again, everyone. I hope you have a coffee. Everything is fine. I was on the last night party. So, I don't know. You tell me. All right, so you have to tell me a story, though. But anyway, I'm going to ask my colleagues how it was yesterday. Anyway, so welcome to this session. Today, we're going to talk about something really interesting, which is, of course, cybersecurity and hacking. It's a very popular topic, of course, as you know very well. I know that this summit is security in general, but so that's why it's kind of interesting to focus on this specific topic, which is the love of my life, so to speak. This is what I do for almost 20 years now in my career. But I'm gonna share some experience with you again. So the reason why I created this session is because I'm dealing with a lot of customers, a lot of companies, which have been compromised, and they are suffering the consequences. It's really like in a Hollywood horror movie type of thing happening when a company is compromised, when something bad happened to it, then all the people involved are suffering, are miserable, and they see the consequences of not taking care of cybersecurity. That's why I want to kind of present this in a specific style, which is very close to the reality, actually. And what I'm going to show to you are real cases, 3 real cases from my experience, and how this affected companies, what happened to them, and what kind of, let's say, lessons we can learn from this bad experience. So let's see whether this is working or not. No, it's not. So I'm gonna just jump like that. About me, I told you almost 20 years, but before that, I started my career as a security guard in G4S company. So I started basically I was a security guard at the Dutch embassy in Sofia. And I was kind of when I started, I was just this is just a job until I go to the university, some night shift or something. And then 18 years later, I was still in the company. But through that time, I was part of the physical security business. I was part of electronic security business. I was in a cash processing site in G4S. Basically did all in physical security. And this is when I realized that cybersecurity and security in general are connected, are related, and they are the same thing. They are here to protect company assets. And this is what it strikes me. When I started my career, cybersecurity was very different for those who remember it. We didn't have fast internet access. You remember these dial-up modems that we used to have? Anyone? Yeah, young guys cannot remember this, right? They're so used to the, let's say, the commodity of internet, right? You remember? It was very difficult to get into the internet, first of all, right? It was just, the telephone line is busy and stuff like that, right? Remember that? So cybersecurity was very different back then. But when I started this, I realized that in the future, this is going to be of the most importance for every company. And I believe strongly that without cybersecurity, there is no future for any company right now. And I guess you're going to agree with me. Also, what I do is speaking internationally, like I'm doing this today with you guys. I have some kind of, let's say, I have family, 2 sons, really proud of them. I have some certifications, they're not very important. This is just to showcase myself. You know, these abbreviations. My mother is very proud of me, but she doesn't really understand what it is, like most of the people. But this is very popular in cybersecurity. Everybody puts some abbreviations after their name, right? And this is supposed to mean that you're the great expert, right? No, the only thing that it's matter is having experience in what you do. That's what I believe in. But because I do a lot of trainings and stuff like this, kind of required. I like movies, art, biochemistry, don't ask me why, and powerlifting. Well, I hope that I look like I'm doing powerlifting, but that's a different story anyway. So I'm gonna do this all the time, since this is not properly working for me, but anyway. So enough about me. Let me ask you a question. What's your worst nightmare? Oh my God, this is the worst. I agree with you. Anybody else want to share? Mothers-in-law stories or something? We all know them, don't be shy. Yes, we know. But let's focus more on cybersecurity stuff. Have you been hacked? Quiet room, of course. Nobody will gonna confess, of course, it's being hacked, right? But let's say in personal capacity, have everyone take over your Facebook account or compromise your systems. You're so quiet now. Want to share? Confess your sins. All right, yeah, okay. Well, actually, this happens quite a lot. By the way, according to the latest statistics, the cost of a cybercrime is approximately 11.3 trillion US dollars, which is the third largest economy in the world after US and China. This is what we are dealing with, guys. This is the most profitable, the most safe, and the most exciting type of crime nowadays. It pays off a lot. It's very difficult to track these guys. It's very difficult to find who they are. It's very difficult to handle this problem and actually resolve it. So that's the horror of it. Everybody can do it. The entry, it's very low, especially nowadays with the artificial intelligence. Have we talked about artificial intelligence recently? Of course, it's everywhere. But now this gives in the hands of these people, the bad people, a new type of weapon, the most powerful type of weapon existing on the planet, which is knowledge, synthesized and easy to gain through artificial intelligence. It's not perfect, it's far from what we have these nightmare scenarios in the Hollywood movies, Skynet coming, destroying humanity, and we're just slaves to it. No, we are far away from that. But the bad guys are on steroids right now, and they are actually making a lot of business out of it. So let's see some examples, shall we? So let's see. I kind of named these scenarios, these kind of a movie scenarios, let's say, like this. So the first story, I named it the shape shifter. What I mean by that, guys, is that we do have a lot of actually attacks, I'm not sure about here, in which you have a typical business email compromise scenario. And then the bad guy is actually intercepting your email communication, slide in a stealthy manner, and then intercepts payments, invoices, and changing bank details. This is a very popular type of attack. Most of it is coming from Nigeria, from Africa, from Middle East. These people are professionals. So that's why they're kind of shifting identities in order to complete this attack. So let's see an example of that attack, right? Let's see how it works. Again, this is actual attack. I, of course, rename everything, change the names of companies and, of course, the people involved, but this is the actual email that was exchanged. So, example, we have Mali fished, of course, whatnot, because she was compromised initially, and also her partner, the company that actually she was dealing with. And okay, so she sends an email, which is, by the way, the legitimate one, with invoice attached, approximately 500,000 euro in it, to a supplier, not supplier, to a customer, partner, who needs to pay this 500,000 to a bank account of this company. And she said, okay, this is the bank details, whatever. Receive, contact your bank, whatever do. So this is the invoice, everything is fine. This is Evan Trustman. Okay? So let's see what's going on after that. So Maryfish sends a second email, but this is not her. This is the bad guy doing that. Says, listen, disregard the previous email. Disregard the previous bank details. Now what you should do now is, let's say, transfer this money to another bank account because we're going to send it from Wakanda. Marvel movies, anyone? Anyway, so she said, okay, because this is going to be very complicated international transfer, let's go through this bank based in UK, right? This is a made up, of course, address. Forward this, Swift code confirmation accordingly. Again, this is not her. This is actually happening in the background in the evening from the IP address of Lagos, Nigeria, for example. So now what's happening is that the Evan Trustman, okay, so yeah, he's a good partner, a good guy, good lad. So okay, sure, okay. He's asked, can we have the new invoices issued because they have a different bank account in it? Can you give me the updated invoices, please? Right? And maybe we can have this in British pound or something. Is it possible? So he's trying to complete the job, right? Fine. And what the bad guy is actually saying here, from IP address from Lonsdale, US, nothing to do with the company, by the way. So, dear, Eden, actually the bad guy actually misspelled his name because he was in a hurry to do that. And say, okay, see the attached invoice, update it, go ahead, pay the invoice, everything's fine. Now, you guess what's going to happen here, right? This bank account is not related to this company at all. This is just account which is used by the bad guys for money muling type of purposes. So this is what they do normally. So they have this, and they have a second account, and they transfer the money all the time, and they cash out. So I recreated 2 invoices, which I did forensic analysis on. So the first one was the legitimate one with the right bank details. The second one, if you see here with the red, they just used paint to kind of place them on the top of the real bank account and look like this is kind of updated invoice because they don't have access to the accounting software of the company, right? So they just use paint with squares, paste it on the top of the invoice, and the attack was almost complete. Now, you may wonder how these guys didn't notice this. What you will do? Are you going to stop this transfer? Are you going to be suspicious about it? Do you really going to realize that this actually is happening? Actually, the management of the company realized this 3 months after it happened. 3 months. And because this guy, Evan Trustman, was asking, okay, I transferred 2 invoices to you and nothing's happening. Where's the money? What's happening? After 1 month of that, he started to communicate with him a second. And the third month, they realized there is a problem. And they started to, oh my God, what's going on here? And there was short with 500,000 British pounds. By the way, this is a small amount compared to what can happen really. Millions of transfers are happening every day, fraudulent like that. So this is actually what happened. And they engaged with me and we started to analyze the forensic evidence. We found what happened really. But while we were actually investigating the case, the bad guys realized that we are on them. And do you know what they did? They wanted to have another shot as soon as they realized that we are kind of on to them. So they actually sent this email to all contact lists of these financial controller lady. To all its contacts, it was 700 contacts. And they sent massive email to all the contacts just to make sure they can have another victim hooked after this attack is over, because they realized it's over. This is what they did immediately after that. So this is the email. This is not the actual PDF file. It was just a picture, JPEG file, and under it there is a link which actually leads to this. I think this is sloppy, if you ask me, but it's a typical phishing type of attack vector. Basically, this I haven't provided the real link. It's not active anymore anyway, but it was leading to a Turkish site for bakery, which was hacked. And they use this to kind of upload a web server onto it. And then they use a marketing tool to keep track who is clicking on the link. So this is what they do. And then they started to harvest credentials for all the contacts in her contact list. These guys had nerves, guys. They don't care. And by the way, if they are based in Lagos, Nigeria, who's gonna track them down? Really? They don't give a, I don't want to say curse word here, so they don't care. And this is the normal or almost modus operandi of these guys. It happens every day, everywhere in the world. So, of course, you may argue how successful this attack can be, because Microsoft now requires two-factor authentication and stuff like that. But believe me, it's very easy to do that attack. Now, let's move to the second scenario. I call this the harvester. So why I call this the harvester? By the way, there is a very clear analogy here with the hacking group involved into this. They used the imagery of a spider as a logo of their operations. It was an international group based in Russia, operating until recently. And what they are specialized in was data extortion, ransomware, and other forms of hacking, whatever. So this group, what they did, they managed to extract all information from the company, terabytes of data. Guess what? The company didn't realize that actually this happened. It took them approximately 4 months after this was over. All company data, everything was uploaded to the servers of the bad guys. And what they get was the typical email. I didn't include it here, but what we started to do with these guys, it was negotiation. They initially required 1.5 million US dollars as a ransom. And this company wanted to list on the stock exchange. And they perfectly timed that attack, because they know they have this pressure to look good in front of the eyes of the investors. And they're more susceptible to negotiation, to pay the ransom, right? So we engage with them and say, listen, my advice always is do not pay the ransom. Don't do it. Do you know why? We are security people. We know why. This is international crime syndicate. So first of all. Secondly, this is illegal in most countries around the globe. So if you pay the ransom, how you are going to justify this money in your books? How? Entertainment? What? Lunch? Going to Adria Security Summit? Yes, sure. Few times. Paying for the whole thing? Exactly. Sponsorship. Or maybe you can say, we are doing a penetration testing type of exercise, which is kind of close to reality, by the way. But anyway, so we started to negotiate with these guys, and this is me talking to him, by the way. It's not really readable that much, but I'm going to explain what happened. First of all, they say, we do not negotiate. Pay us 1.5 million. We know how much money you make. We analyze your financial records. your P&L statement, you know how profitable you are. So don't give me this that you don't have money. We know exactly how much money you have. Of course, they had access to the ERP system database and everything else, so they were in a position to analyze everything, basically. Say, we don't negotiate. And I go in and say, listen, guys, it's COVID time. You know, these people are feeding families. Give us a break, you know. Give us a break. And say, listen, okay, let's consider. I'm going to ask the guys, right? And he returns, this is a chat. They use specific chats for that. It's encrypted, so you don't have to kind of disclose this anywhere. So listen, okay, we can give you 10% discount. 10%? Sounds good. I say, I go back to the company, listen, they give us 10%. Let's pay. No, let's negotiate. This is a hostage scenario, so you have to negotiate. So listen, okay, bring down this amount to 1.0 million US dollars, and we can have a deal. I say, okay, so if you do this in 1 week, if you made the payment in 1 week, we have a deal. And I say, okay, let me, discuss. And the guys in the company say, okay, we can do this. We don't have Bitcoin though. Do you know how easy it is to have 1.1 million US dollars in Bitcoin in a matter of 3 days? Anyone? Without having any account anywhere and everything else? It's simply not possible because you have a KYC, you have processes, this is a company account, it doesn't happen in a snap like that. So they come up with a plan, which is take this briefcase with the money, go to Dubai, and there is a bank in Dubai that actually accepts cash and gives you crypto. Problem solved. And then we sit there in the room. We have the Bitcoin now. By the way, you have to choose the right wallet, not to be traceable and all the other stuff, privacy enhanced and all the other stuff. And we say, okay, let's send the money. So, no, don't send the money yet. Let's send just a sample and see whether they receive the Bitcoin. We can track down the Bitcoin address after that, so on and so forth. So, okay, let's do this, $1,000 send. These guys, thumbs up. Okay, everything's fine, shoot. And I remember the horror of the eyes of the manager sitting in the front of his computer thinking about pressing this button there, send. Can you think of what pressure this is? Because let's face it, you're dealing with criminals. They're professionals, but criminals. And you don't have any assurance that after that they're going to delete the data. They say, we promise, we're going to delete everything. Can you verify that? No. It's pure faith, nothing else than that. In a God Almighty, that's the only hope that you have. And then we send the money, and everybody waits. Nothing's happening though. 2 hours later, still waiting, nothing's happening. And they start to get nervous, they're kind of sweating and everything. Oh my God, oh my. So listen, probably these guys are now celebrating. They go to have drinks and everything, after a good business deal. Give them some time. And after 3 days, these guys appear and say, we have the money, everything's fine. Everybody goes, whew, oh my God. That was a close one. I say, listen, give me the proof that you deleted the data. They provided a screenshot that everything is deleted. And say, listen, guys, you promised me to give me a pen test report. I said, sure, I'm going to give you a pen test report. And they give me a pen test report. Do you want to see it? That's the part of the pen test report. It doesn't look so fancy, but what they are describing here, basically the network appliance, the firewall was having vulnerability. They managed to get in, and from there, they entered the network, compromised the Active Directory admin account. For those who understand, Mimikatz, classic, and they take over everything, basically. What they were using, and this is why they were not being detected, was a normal system administration tools to upload the data, remote access tools. That's why nobody detected them, because they were using smart chunks of data in a matter of 3 months to translate everything up there. Okay, and they give you, there's some recommendations. Don't do this anymore. You are good guys, but maybe somebody else is going to come over and, And the last one, which I want to share with you, is called The Ring. Remember this movie? Oh my God, this young girl was so terrifying. Does it? I still have nightmares of this movie, right? So, The Ring. Let me play something.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Yes.
Hi, it's Andrew calling from representing a group of hackers, and I'm calling to give you a question. So I spoke with you before. Did you found the notes to go to live chat in order to contact?
No, unfortunately, I didn't find anything.
Okay. What's the best email for you to receive the instructions by email? The best one for you.
This is just a sample because it's 5 minutes long. I don't want to lose your time. Basically, this was the proxy calling on behalf of the hacker group, negotiating with the victim. Again, this is the data hostage attack typical scenario. They didn't realize, surprise, surprise, that this actually happened. And because they didn't receive, because normally they leave a note on the computer asking for this. And because they didn't get it for some reason, they started calling, say, listen, what's going on? Whatever. This was a very friendly conversation, by the way. Yeah, I understand how you feel, you're good. I know. Let's do this and stuff like that. So it's really engaging conversation, so to speak, just like friends talking, right? But for some reason, after they haven't received anything, what they did, and this is a replica of their website, in which they are uploading data stolen from companies. I think the next session after me is going to talk about deep web and dark web. So you're going to see it by yourself, but this is just a kind of a sample. You see the last one, IT Director Home's XXX videos. Guess what it is inside? Can you guess? Ivo? Ton of this, but not typical one. Don't embarrass yourself, man. Don't embarrass yourself. I'm saying very kind of a kinky type of content, right? And they use this in order to extort him personally in the top of what they are doing with the company, because he was having gigabytes and gigabytes of this uploaded from his personal computer to his corporate computer, and it was visible for everybody. Imagine the horror of this person. All his intimate life was exposed to everyone. Imagine that. All the company data, as you can see, was exposed. And this, on the left-hand side, you see other companies. This group is still active as we speak. And they're publishing data for unicorn companies, for big US-based companies in let's say, billions of dollars revenues. Personal data, everything that you can imagine is out there. Everything. For everyone to see and use whatever he wants to. So, this is what happened, but it doesn't end it there, because they started to send this information to the partners of this company. And the partners of this company started to ask questions. And this was a living nightmare in a matter of months just to explain what's going on, whether your data is being compromised, and all the other stuff. Imagine how difficult this is to handle. What I said to them, and this is my recommendation to everyone. If something like this happens to you, be open about it. Don't hide it. Assume the worst case scenario that everybody knows. The media, your partners, your family members, everybody knows that you've been compromised. And this is the only thing that you can do after this happens. So, time, I'm just starting, man. Okay, I'm gonna be quick. This is the last one, and this is more of in the future. The dream catcher. This was Stephen King. Yeah, Stephen King movie, right? Yeah. Dreaming of unicorns. And I'm going to just quickly show you something. All right. Do you know what it is, guys? This one. You like me? I'm awesome, isn't it? Actually, it's not very comfortable to wear, but this is brain-computer interface, which basically by thinking of something, you can command your systems. And what I did is to integrate this with, guess what? Somebody? ChatGPT, of course. What else? So when I'm thinking about unicorns wearing this, I can give you, if you want, you can try. It cannot read your mind basically yet, but it's kind of a close. So what's happening here is that I managed to create integration with ChatGPT. It's not probably going to be very visible, but it actually reads your mind and says, now you're thinking about unicorns. This is just an example of what is possible in the future. It's kind of a small text, sorry, but depends on the screen whether you're going to see it or not. But this is just basically say, now you're thinking about this. Okay. Because you're rushing me, I have to kind of come to a close. And finally, where is the cross section between physical and cyber? It's this. Doesn't look fancy, does it? It's a simple cable. Is it a cable? No, it's not. This is not a cable. This is a backdoor to your systems. I don't have time. I have the demo, but we don't have to show you. If you're interested after the session, I can show it to you. You just have to plug it in, and your systems are encrypted immediately, just by using this cable. Ransom attack. You can do everything basically with that. In this here, by the way, they have a USB-C version, which is even smaller than that. And what's the cross-reference between physical? In order this to work, somebody needs to plug it in there. And this is the smallest possible example of how physical and cyber collide in this universe. All right? Yes, I'm stopping. All right. So that's actually it. Thank you so much for your time. He was rushing me. That's why I'm kind of finishing like that. But anyway, so I hope you enjoy the horrors of what I explained to you. And if you have any question, I'm here for 1 hour. I have to go back. Sorry, guys. So thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.